Shut up and sit down.
So, hello and welcome to a North Wales side-by-side video. I've got my steel now for my brackets for the master cylinder for the hydraulic brake conversion. And I've basically laid out where everything's going. I've made myself two L-shaped brackets which are going to pick up mounting points that are already on the car to bolt them down to the car. I'm going to pick up handbrake, this bracket here for the gear change cable, which will be about here. There's another gear change cable here which I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to pick up a mounting point there which will fasten this part of the bracket to the car. It's got to be bolted together because of the design of the car. Then we've got the master cylinder with its bracket where it fastens to, which is going to sit sort of roughly here. And I'm going to use a rose joint to come off the original handbrake cable, the handbrake lever, and put the rose joint in that gap there. And I've already had a play with the handbrake, and I'm getting full travel on the master cylinder when I operate the handbrake. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I still want to retain the original mechanical handbrake, and keeping the master cylinder above that means I can retain and leave that cable in there, and this isn't going to interfere with the original mechanical handbrake, because what the MOT man wants to see is a mechanical handbrake on the rear calipers that operates. And it also means I've got the ratchet mechanism to hold the hydraulic pressure on the handbrake when I operate it, which is why I've chosen to use the original handbrake mechanism. So everything will be bolted together. I'm not going to weld anything together, because if I weld that, that becomes one unit, and it's nigh on impossible to get it into the position I want it. Doing it this way bolts it to the chassis, creates a very, very strong structure for the hydraulic cylinder, and means that's not going to flex and that's not going to move. I'm pondering at the moment how to fasten this to the bracket, but I'm actually thinking I'm going to make another bracket to span these two, for that to sit on, for that to be bolted onto. That way these are tied a little bit higher up as well, so they don't do that. So I'm just throwing ideas about now. Now, when it comes to plumbing the system in, this is only a single circuit master cylinder. I need to feed in there, I need to come out of there. But this has got 4 channel ABS on it. So I've done some research on the ABS system, And I want to also retain the original brake lines in the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed off the ABS block. I'm going to go 2 pipes into one off the ABS, the 2 rear brake pipes, to feed this. I'm then going to run from here back. Let's go to the front of the car. There's the ABS block. So I've worked out that pipe and that pipe are the 2 pipes that feed the rear brakes. So to feed the master cylinder, I need to come out of that port and that port. So I'm going to make a pipe up for there and a pipe up for there and put them into a T-piece, and then go single pipe to the master cylinder. Then come back from the master cylinder, still retaining these 2 pieces of pipe, to another T, come off the T so I can then feed the hydraulic pressure back to the rear brakes. And that just creates a circuit, which means when I put my foot on the brakes and the handbrake's not applied, the fluid goes in one side of the master cylinder, back out to these pipes to operate the rear brakes. But when I pull the handbrake, the fluid uses the original pipes and actuates the brake calically off the handbrake, which is going to give me a really strong handbrake for the MOT. But the MOT man's not going to see any of this. He's going to think it's still a mechanical handbrake. He's not going to realise, because everything's going to be hidden under the centre tunnel and hidden underneath this, which covers all of that. None of that's visible, so everything's hidden. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. But for now, I'm leaving the brakes alone, hydraulic wise, so technically I can still use the car if I want to. But for now, I've got to finalise the bracket, position of the master cylinder, before I can even think about hydraulics. That's first point of call. That's the first thing to get correct. So it's just a ponder now and figure out how to mount the cylinder to this bracket. But I am thinking about a bridge piece to bolt that to, just to put extra strength into it. I could drill through the side, through here, and put spacers, but I don't think that's the right way to do it. I need to create a box section here by fastening that side to that side and create a very strong rigid structure here to support the master cylinder, because when you pull that and push that, there's a lot of mechanical force and a lot of hydraulic pressure being created. So flex is out of the question. It has to be absolutely solid when it's bolted together. Anyhow, that's where we're up to. That's as far as I've got so far, making the first 2 brackets. I've now got to spot all the holes, get this lot bolted in before I can make the next bit. So that's probably going to be tomorrow's job now, because I've been at just making that bracket there and just getting positions rough. I spent about 3 hours on it just to get as far as I've got, but it's 3 hours, it's worth it. Whilst we're in here, is this thing going to start? Hasn't been run for weeks. That's a cold start. No smoke. This thing does not burn oil. Anyhow, when I finish making the bracket, I'll bring you back and I'll show you where I'm up to. But I did promise you, as I was going through all the different stages and the design process, I'd bring you along. Thanks for watching. This has been probably over a 10-minute video by now, but if anybody with an MR2 is interested at a later stage in copying this idea, eventually I'm going to have photographs, dimensions, everything. It's something you can make yourself if you're having handbrake problems on one of these MR2s, and it's a good workaround to get yourself a really good handbrake whilst retaining the mechanical system that was fitted to the car out the factory, which is still going to be in place, which is all the MOT station is interested in. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much.